start to establish the waves equal doodle.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got myself into this situation.
For the film, I took on the role of directing performance, as in my opinion, this is my strongest area. When we received the brief, we started generating ideas for a narrative, both in person and online. After some difficulties, we finalised on an idea and developed it, despite no one being particularly happy after many compromises were made. I went forth and scripted the piece, and then after a shooting schedule was crafted, I contacted 2 photographers to create content for both our benefit and their own. I cannot thank Abby and Neve enough for this. Day 1 started off excellently, with the stress of a cast and a crew member showing up a couple of hours late. I definitely learnt to adapt and improvise on this project, as I was forced to use who and what was readily available. The first location was the car, the climax of the film, which I chose to do first as I needed there to be an air of hostility around the actors that wouldn't be there if we had developed their relationship in the other scenes. I adore conflict between characters and having an oh shit moment. My inspiration is shown here.
To nobody human has anything to say to me today!
Overall, I'm not happy with ours though, as it was heavily improvised, so it created clunky dialogue and lines which don't necessarily make sense within the context of the film. However, it did make the argument more realistic, rather than them trying to recall lines that they were learning on the spot. We then filmed the bedroom scene, which I was very happy with, as the lack of focus sets a mystery around the character. The audio of the waves also creates a motif that the audience can distinctly recognise and know exactly what was being thought of when it plays. It was an effective use of non-diegetic audio and was more of a surreal component to an otherwise naturalistic piece. On day 2, the issue of not knowing lines arose again. I constantly tried to give direction, but this input was either verbally refused or flat out ignored. This made for an uncomfortable working environment that I have been lucky enough to avoid in my work up till now. Usually, I like an open working environment, where everyone feels comfortable enough to put forward ideas and start discussions. There's a famous quote saying a film is made 3 times, when it's written, when it's filmed, and then in the edit. When it came to editing, Darren swooped in to be my post-production angel. We openly spoke about the high and low points of the piece, which ultimately made my decision to restructure it, as what we currently had was not working at all. I do feel that the re-edit is a lot better than the original and actually makes it closer to my original pitch. I followed Hitchcock's technique where he discusses a story of a group of people eating a meal and then they suddenly explode, which is a surprise, a twist. However, if you show the bomb under the table at the start of the story, it builds tension, which is a technique that the re-edit implemented. I believe the technical aspects are where this film excels, and it's the creative side which was lacking. I also feel that this film has definitely been a sharp learning curve, that whilst I'm not happy with the final product, it's definitely changed how I will interact with future cast and crew.
I thought you were holding a pigeon.